Welcome to Talking Heads on USA Global TV, starring the one and only wonderful Dr. Jacalyn. It's a prestigious place where world-class influencers and experts meet, and where you'll find the most trusted advisors and coaches for all things in life and business. Visit usaglobaltv.com to sign up for our newsletter, get the value you need, and be first in line to learn about events and giveaways and other valuable content. Connect with us. Email Dr. Jacalyn at usaglobaltv.com to talk about how you can become part of USA Global TV. That's USA Global TV, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, everyone, and welcome, or maybe it's welcome back to USA Global TV, and hello to our friends listening on Business Talk Radio out of New York. I'm Dr. Jacalyn KERBECK, and our show today is The Power of Etiquette and Manners. And joining me is the principal of the British School of Excellence, Mr. Philip Sykes. Welcome to the show, Philip.
Hello, Dr. Jacalyn, and a good day to all of you wherever you are in the world. It's Friday again, and the week has just shot past. And as I always say, I so look forward to this opportunity of seeing you firstly and connecting, and then having an amazing guest join us.
Thank you, Philip. I look forward to this as well. And seriously, I am always shocked that it's Friday again. I'm so grateful and thankful to God. I can't believe how quickly time goes by. So we are going to have a great show today. I just want to acknowledge there's so much going on in the world, and so many people are struggling and suffering, and our hearts go out to all of you. It's in times like these, Philip, where a person has to really think about etiquette and manners in terms of how do we show up for each other? How do we show up with grace and with kindness to help someone else?
Yeah, I'm actually just got goosebumps all over my body when you just brought that up, Dr. Jacalyn. I think more so now than ever before. Not only have we been through a very challenging past 2 and something years, but now the way the world is sort of shifting, and with this chaos going on very close to the borders of Europe, on our doorstep. Yeah, it's harrowing, and we as human beings really need to start waking up, because we've got to start looking after one another more and more and more, and forget the fourth industrial revolution where bots and automated processes and technology are sort of pretty much taking the world by storm. We as human beings have this ability. It's innate in us to start going out there and really looking out for other people and making a difference in other people's lives. I can't drive that home hard enough.
Thank you, Philip. I totally agree with you. I want to spotlight you and have you share with our audience who might be joining us for the first time. Welcome. What is the British School of Excellence, and how do you help people?
Fantastic question. Ladies and gentlemen, we here at our organization, the British School of Excellence, are absolutely passionate about giving you tools for life, real core, hardcore skills, not soft skills, because soft skills sound in every sense of the word a bit limp. Hardcore skills to really put your best foot forward, to be better than you were yesterday. And it is through the power of etiquette and manners. It is through the way we connect and deal with people. And everything is about respect for yourself, respect for other people. And so here at the British School of Excellence, we focus on working with children from as young as age around 5.5, 6 years old, moving up through to teenagers, moving from there into graduates, into anybody who wants to really take themselves to the next level, whether it be with their relationships, whether it be with their businesses, whether it be with their colleagues and friends. We really do focus on bringing real value in today. This is not about hot potatoes in your mouth and etiquette and manners, blah, blah, blah. Etiquette and manners, ladies and gentlemen, are the guiding principles of life. They are there like traffic lights so that we don't bang into each other. And I really urge all of you to take time to look at the shows that Dr. Jacalyn and I have hosted in the past on USA Global TV platform. You will get huge value from the most incredible people that have walked through the doors, through all the programs, but I'm focusing obviously on the power of etiquette and manners, and then our YouTube channel, where we try and add as much value to the world as possible just through our YouTube channel. So if you're interested in finding out more about our organization, please do visit www.thebritishschoolofexcellence.com.
Thank you, Philip. I appreciate that. And, I learned so much. There are so many key learnings from this show and all of our other shows that I am taking notes that I'm going to be sharing. We've got a private club called the Elevated Listening Community, because the takeaways here are enormous. I love what you just shared about the traffic lights are there to keep us from bumping into each other. That is such a good analogy.
It is. It is a great analogy, because I think a lot of people look at the so-called etiquette and manners as old-fashioned and, oh my word, we've moved on from here and blah. Think about etiquette and manners as those traffic lights so that we don't actually bump into each other. They're there to protect us. It gives us boundaries. It gives us the ability to, just slow down and engage with people on a very personable level. Not only that, but as you know, Dr. Jacalyn, and for those audience who listen in every week, it's fundamental that we understand how to connect with people in the way they like to be connected with. So that platinum rule. So there's so many advantages. There's actually no disadvantages, in my view, to the power of etiquette and manners. And obviously, whenever I talk about etiquette and manners, the full circle is incorporating your emotional intelligence.
Absolutely. And Philip, I also think that when we live a life that is based on etiquette and manners, there is more peace in the world, and we certainly need that. Instead of competing against each other, let us come together and lift one another up.
Absolutely. Being a gentleman or a young lady or a young woman or a young man, it encompasses a few very great qualities. And one of those is to just get rid of your ego. Get rid of your ego. What is everyone's got an ego, but just tone it down. You don't need to be arrogant. You don't need to be a maniac about how your views and your dictatorship must work and it's my way or the highway. Everything we do, and I was very blessed earlier this week to be speaking on actually the school I went to in South Africa. We have a very strong old boys network, and I was invited to be the guest speaker on. They have a mentorship program every Wednesday, and I was invited to speak. And this is what I was getting across to the audience. Whether you, no matter where you come from in the world, whether it be, I always often say, the slums in Calcutta in India, to the favelas in Brazil, to the poorest parts of the United Kingdom and Africa. It doesn't matter where you come from. If you really are very serious about moving your life forward, look at the things you can implement into your life. And one of those, and it's a key, is your etiquette and manners. And then you can focus on growing your emotional intelligence. And when you can do that, it'll give you the tools, 100% the tools, to move forward in your life. That I know for sure.
Thank you so much, Philip. That was a great way to level set for our audience. And I know we've got a fantastic guest backstage. I think what we'll do before bringing her out is we'll take our commercial break right now. And I think that this is such an important clip. I've been playing it a lot because I think it has so much value. It's the Earthshot Prize. And I want to thank Ian Pelham-Turner and Helena Shard for sharing this with us. And then we'll come right back and have you introduce our guests. So stay with us here.
Good idea. Good idea.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Ours is a world of wonder. Every day it reminds us of its beauty. It touches us, teaches us, and astounds us. But it also warns us that what we throw away does not go away. That higher temperatures mean a lot more than longer summers. That we can no longer take life as we know it for granted. We are at a unique stage in our history. Never before have we had such an awareness of what we are doing to the planet. And never before have we had the power to do something about that. We face a series of unprecedented challenges to nature and life on Earth. But humans have an extraordinary power to solve the greatest of challenges. We invent, navigate, see, cure, travel, move, participate, demonstrate. The most audacious of them all, to land a man on the moon. The moon shot.
We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
A seemingly impossible task that over a single decade became a reality. And along the way, united the world. It's that same spirit that can guide us today as we confront the serious challenges we face on Earth. This year, Prince William and a global alliance launched the most prestigious environment prize in history, the Earthshot Prize. A global prize designed to motivate and inspire a new generation of thinkers, leaders and dreamers to think differently. Visionaries rewarded over the next decade for responding to the great challenges of our time. A decade of action to repair our planet. The Earthshot Prize. Coming soon.
Welcome back to USA Global TV and Business Talk Radio. Our program today is The Power of Etiquette and Manners, and I'm here with Philip Sykes. And Philip, who is our guest for today?
Someone that I'm hugely excited to give a very warm welcome to, an amazing young lady by the name of Janika, known fondly as Jan, originally from Australia, and she has found in her life that she was destined to help people professionally with their vision, their focus, and their brands, and moved to Boston. And so she's based out of the USA, and she started an amazing consultancy, a business called The Better Professional, and really focuses on, really coaching and giving people those amazing tools to put their best foot forward. And Jan has her own podcast called the Polish Your Persona podcast from memory. And she really does give her clients the most unbelievable opportunity to build their confidence. And she works with people right across the board, senior level, C-suite, executives, focusing on personal brand and building that reputation, and also helping people become better at self-managing themselves. And her real mission in life is to really, I think, give people knowledge and life-changing skills right across the world, right across the board. And without further ado, Jan, welcome to the show, and thank you so much for making the time to join us.
Hi, Jan. Welcome.
Hello. It is an absolute pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for the invitation.
Thank you for weathering the storm to join us.
Wow, it is quite something outside. Oh, it's beautiful, though. It really is.
Well, you're looking quite polished and professional, and I'm very excited for this interview to get to know you better and to share with our audience so they can contact you. Let's put up your contact information right away.
Yes, I put my website on there. So if you need to get in touch with me or follow any of my social media, just go straight to my website. I like to keep things simple.
Thank you.
Excellent. Jan,
yes.
How have things been for you over the last couple of years? I mean, obviously, we've had the privilege of getting to know one another. How have things started to develop for you? How are you getting on in the USA?
Thank you very much for asking, Philip. And thank you so much for that lovely introduction. I feel as though you just made me sound like a superstar. It has been a really interesting 2 years because starting my own consultancy in Boston and it being at the height of the pandemic, I really wasn't too sure who would listen, who would be interested, and what type of services they would be looking for specifically virtually. So I gave it a go. I thought, if I'm going to start, I might as well start right now. Let me figure out who's looking for a service like this. And Philip, you actually put it into my head when I did take your Train the Trainer course at the British School of Excellence. There was one thing you said to me that resonated, and that was, you should be your brand at all times. It doesn't matter if you're in the workplace, if you're taking time off and it's your personal life, always represent yourself. And that's what really clicked to me. I figured, who does this? Who really thinks this way? And those are people who are very serious about building their own reputation and self-managing that. So it's actually another component of what I feel is etiquette and is becoming more modern today, because you think about what is in the virtual world, it's not just who you are in person now, it's who you are socially as well as online, professionally, and socially. So who's taking this seriously? Who are the clients that are coming to me? They are those senior level to C-suite managers and executives, and they are entrepreneurs, which is really interesting that these higher level people that are very advanced in their careers are looking at this and taking personal branding and business etiquette so seriously and saying, I do want to manage this, but I need someone to help me and guide me. So I do offer coaching, one-to-one, as well as I do consulting for very specific scenarios. If someone has an individual need that they need addressed and they would like my guidance on, or they would like me to actually help them create whatever the ask is, whether it be a marketing document, a media kit, something that helps them streamline their brand, not just in person, but also on paper and on the internet.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for sharing that, Janet. And you really brought a point to light that I think we should hone in on, which is many times we see people acting one way in the workplace and then another way. And it's confusing because people think, are you authentic? Who are you really? So I love this idea of being your brand regardless of where you are. So if you're at the gym, should you act out of control in some way and then you act a different? No, you need to be consistent with the way you present yourself. Philip, what are your thoughts on that? Oh, we can't hear you.
I hope that wasn't the only one golden nugget you took away about I am my brand, but thank you. You're so right. You're so right. And everything you, I mean, look at you. You show up. You prepared for this opportunity. You made sure you crossed every T and dotted every I. You even found corporate premises to make sure the internet is going to be stable.
Yeah.
This is part of being a professional. This is part of being, consistently good at what you do. We can all find excuses, and let's face it, things happen. We know that, things go wrong. We deal with it. But at the end of the day, it is absolutely 100%. And what I want the audience to understand, this young lady who you see in front of you and Dr. JACALYN, there's a huge sense of humor to these people, to all of us. We love joking and we love bantering and blah, blah, blah. Doesn't mean you need to be a stiff puppet and I've got to watch every step I take. And not at all. Be consistent be consistent in your amazing outlook in life. And I just would love to share a story. So I think I would have shared this with you, Jan, and I may have shared it with you, Dr. JACALYN. But many years ago, way before COVID, my wife and I were very fortunate to go to a lovely seaside resort in Greece. And as children, they sort of get along with one another, and so you end up inevitably talking to, Harley had met two little girls, and we end up talking to their parents, and we got on really nicely with this lovely couple. And it was only after day 3 did we really, I think Anita, her name was, asked, so Kerry, what do you do for a living, blah 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 blah, and we found out that they were in the marketing side of pharmaceuticals and that sort of thing. And then Anita said, and Philip, what are you involved in? What do you do? And I said, I represent this organization. Back in those days was the British School of Etiquette. And she said, I could have written that down and then said, is that what you do? She said, because of just the way you handle yourself, the way you are with people, blah, blah, blah. And that for me, it gives me goosebumps sharing that story, because I'm not a puppeteer. I'm not trying to act in any other way. I'm consistent in who I am and what I do and how I connect with whoever it might be around me. And so what we were funny enough talking about the other day was with branding. You are your brand. How many people out there go off to work or go to a meeting and put on their best behavior, then they walk back through their front door and they behave badly, they behave rudely, they're abrupt with their children, they're abrupt with their partners. And there are so many people, they think at home you can just offload. Well, hold on. No, you can't. Be consistent in who you are. You might have had a rough day, but then explain that and communicate that. Dr. Jacalyn, this is where you give so much guidance in the art of listening, the art of connecting and communicating with people. And I know for a fact that Jan and her delivery and her coaching focuses heavily on this particular journey.
Yes, absolutely. I do.
And thank you for that, Philip. Jan, I have a question for you. You mentioned that a number of people who are senior in their position, they come to you for some fine tuning, for some additional knowledge. And I think that that's really important, because I think our audience needs to know, whatever you're doing, wherever you are in your journey of life, you can still learn and grow. And Jen, why do you think it is people who have accomplished so much at these levels that they're coming to you?
You think about people who are looking at executive leadership or executive extension learning. They're those types of go-getters that realize there's not just an MBA and a master's an MBA or a bachelor's to be gotten. You actually need to do some more sourcing for yourself as to how to refine and cultivate this brand about being you. It's becoming much more apparent to those who are going out there and sourcing this information themselves. And so if you're in a position of leadership, you're realizing, my goodness, I want to be much more like the person who's a thought leader. I think I want to step into the role of, being someone who's more so on the media or becoming an author. There are so many different directions to go, or starting a podcast perhaps. So if you are looking to grow and develop yourself and be taken seriously, what does that look like? Well, it comes in many shapes, forms, sizes, including being able to be kind to people all the time, 100% of the time. But not only that, present yourself in every situation and having a go-to. It could look like having a go-to uniform, whether it be at work or casually, and knowing what that is. But really getting down to the very root of it all, which is, what is your philosophy? What are your key core values? How do you see the world being in the future? What is your vision? And if you had to make decisions based on your philosophy, your mission, your vision, and your core values, are they the decisions that are going to help you get to where you want to be? And that is really the root of where I get to, which helps you then decide, this is how I will dress when I'm casual or running to the grocery store. This is how I will always treat every single individual, with absolute poise, style, and etiquette, great etiquette, and make sure that no matter what you're doing, no matter where you are in the world, you have the ability to control that around yourself. And it's not just in person, it's also online. If you think about how many personal accounts you may have out there, and that could be with Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, there's TikTok now that's so popular. How does that complement your business LinkedIn profile, your Zing profile, anything that represents you business and in the business world and professionally? Are these a nice balance? And the message that you're putting out there, is it consistent across the board? It doesn't have to be exactly the same. You're not going to speak to someone in business the exact same way as Philip, you were saying, to someone in your personal world. It's going to be different. But how do you thread these core values, this philosophy that you create for yourself, so that you can act with substance moving forward and really create an impression that lasts? And that's all about making your own personal brand and figuring out how that fits into each aspect of your life, including your professional world.
Brilliant answer. Thank you so much. We also have a comment.
Lovely.
How do you say this person's name? Is it Enkeleda?
Enkeleda, yeah. Enkeleda from Romania, living all the way in Italy.
Wow, what a great point you're making, dear Janika. That's so nice. Thank you for watching.
Yes, thank you.
That's amazing.
And to your point, when I was in my corporate role, our company was really privileged to have testimonials. And one of them was that the company did the right thing even when no one was looking. And I think there's something to be said. You just talked about acting with substance, showing up with substance. Whether or not you realize it, someone's looking somewhere. And how you behave for that one moment in time, that could be the image that you leave with someone. And are they going to do business with you based on that one moment in time that you thought nobody was looking? And I just want to commend you also, Jan, because you showed up big today. You showed up like you care, like you are the professional you are. And I'd love for you to just comment. We interview people here all week, every week, thank goodness. And many times people show up in a way that makes me wonder how they show up in their business. It's not a judgment, but it's kind of like if you're in your bedroom with clothes piled on your bed and you're looking disheveled, I don't know. What are your thoughts about how we show up online?
So it's actually a bit of a process. You want to have a plan A and a plan B. And for example, today, my plan B was, if there's a big snowstorm, which there was, in my home office and space, my internet may not be strong. So that's just one element of what you have to think about. If you're being interviewed online on YouTube or wherever it is that you're watching any of this broadcast, if you think that there may be an interruption, what is the plan B? My plan B was to borrow my husband's conference room. Although it may not have great lighting, you can still see that there's this white background that was requested. And I really took my time to think about, how do I show up in the way that was requested and still represent myself? And that is, well, take a look at the previous, at all of the hosts. What are they wearing? Really figure out, who is it that you're meeting? What type of conversations may they have had in the past? But when you really think about the background and how you're setting up your space speaks a lot to who you are and how you organize yourself. If you think about that bedroom with piles of clothes on the floor, a picture is worth 1,000 words. A video, it can go on forever. It's more than 1,000 words. So if you've got a space that is really tidy, it's neat, I do recommend not to have a bed in the background. I think that is not as professional. However, if you're in the mattress world and that is your business, perhaps you do want to have a lovely bed in the background, or interior designing, who knows? But the way I even have an extra outfit just in case I spilled something on myself. having a plan B for your plan A is very important.
Brilliant. I have to applaud you on that.
Big
And
time.
I know when I was traveling for my corporate role, I'd always have a change of clothing because you never know what's going to happen, but you have to take that time. Listen to what you just shared about how much time and effort you put into being here today. That is huge. And this interview will be out there forever because it's in the public domain. So I think that's something that people don't realize. You're going to be out there forever. Do you want to look a certain way? Do you want to come across a certain way? And Jan, you've nailed it.
100%.
Thank you very much. And there's something that someone I know who mentioned to me this phrase. He said, "You dress for the company that you're in to show respect." So if you don't, depending on what the scenario is, today, for example, Philip, I always see you in the most amazing tailored suits. Jacalyn, Dr. Jacalyn, this is the first time that I've met you, but I know that you're a bit more business to smart casual. So I felt like I better make sure that I'm bridging that somehow and making sure that I represent myself that in a way that balances both of your styles.
Well, you certainly did. Thank you very much.
This just boils down to two real finite things. The first one is attention to detail and preparation, because those two go hand in hand, and this is the essence. I think if anyone can really understand how important preparation in life is and detail, you're going to be on point, exactly what Jan is just sharing with us, because we all have to 100% be prepared, and not with a negative mindset that the worst could happen. But as we all know, things happen. So just be prepared. And it's something that I really, there's not a day that goes past when I'm setting up my studio, I'm in front checking the machinery, checking my lighting at least 20 minutes beforehand, minimum 20 minutes beforehand, making sure my notes are prepared if I'm using notes or whatever it might be. I'm making sure, because we've all had those moments in life where something has just gone and and your heart's racing, you're panicking. You don't show up as being the real you because your mind is all over the shop. So it's going to affect every single move you make. It's going to make and affect every single decision that you make as well.
And when you are prepared, you have that sense of confidence, because whatever goes wrong, you can't control, but how are you going to show up? How are you going to react?
Absolutely. And I think, Jan, what you're sharing with the audience here, and I really hope that the finite detail that you are sharing, you've dropped some fantastic golden nuggets along the way, is really going to ring true. And for anyone out there listening now, I'd actually encourage you to go back and re-listen to those finite points that Jan has just shared with us.
Excellent suggestion. Jan, a question I have for you. You're the better professional. What does the better professional look like in terms of behavior, the way they carry themselves?
It's all about exuding confidence in a humble type of way and presenting yourself with absolute integrity. So when you think of someone, you just know when you meet them, they have this aura of how they are as a person. And you have to think, wow, they must know great etiquette and they must have been taught how to style themselves. And they look like someone who I might want to meet, or they could be really important. I feel like you can just see someone walk across, and if they have that, they understand how to carry themselves with posture, with how they speak. They're not overly over the top with how loud they are. Perhaps they're a bit more discreet. They take their time. They're really someone who is thoughtful and has confidence with how they present themselves and just show up every day, no matter where they are. And it could be, again, in the professional world with business formal attire and the type of bag you carry. It's and the shoes you wear, should all be very polished. And then in your casual world, Same thing. I actually, in my upcoming podcast season, I talk about the art of dressing and how that correlates with polishing yourself and your persona. And being casual, having a core uniform that goes across all dress codes. Perhaps your casual dress code is really clean, pressed, steamed, capri pants with those moccasins and some turtleneck and some light sort of cardigan that you always wear in different colors. So you make it easy for yourself. But having these standards that apply across the board, clean, pressed, tidy, no stains, nothing on your clothes that would indicate that they have been overworn. Making sure that you are speaking, again, kindly to people and showing up in a way that is always presenting you as someone who is thoughtful as well as cares about how they put themselves out there in the world every day.
Thank you, Jan. I was actively listening. So and then initially when you started speaking, I was thinking, oh, am I this person? I'm like, no, I'm going to actively listen. So I'm going to go over to the YouTube channel afterwards and watch again, because so many fantastic points. And I'm wondering, for people in our audience, does that reflect what Jan described? Does that reflect you as the better professional? Is that you, or are there areas that you need to work on that you're interested in exploring? You need to reach out to Jan. And we have a comment from Combs Music. Thank you so much for watching. Great program, very high quality. I'm looking forward to being your guest this time next week. Wow, Dave Combs. Thank you, Dave.
Lovely.
Excellent, lovely comment. Lovely. Yeah, you know, what I would love to sort of interject here with is that everything we do in this world, we need to make it count. I think that's something that was not so much instilled, but it's always resonated with me. Whatever we do in this world, make it count. And that comes from really, really taking time out to prepare and to think through. Just what really clicked earlier, what you were saying, Jan, was the fact that you watched the show, you went onto USA Global TV, you looked at some of the past shows, you weighed it up, you made sure that you were absolutely on point. It wasn't just, okay, well, I've been in, boom, and I click, and now I'm here. No, you are fully mentally and emotionally prepared for this particular occasion. And if we all just literally take a little bit of time out each day to prepare, you will be amazed at how much mileage you get from all the occasions and the engagements that you have during the course of your day. Down to a telephone call, down to a Zoom meeting, down to going to a physical meeting, down to taking your partner out on a date, whatever it might be. This is what it's all about. Being with your children. You know, if you're going to be with your children, then be with your children, not on your devices or anything like that at all. Show up every single time and make it count.
Mm. And Philip and Jan, something I'd like to have you weigh in on is, we are in this virtual world on a regular basis. It's not going to change. I think people are embracing the fact that you can meet people from all across the world. You don't have to leave your home. Jan did. Thank you, Jan. And so my question is, have you been in a virtual meeting where someone showed up with their camera off, or someone showed up while they're eating a meal? These things resonate and they stand out. Whether it's a support group meeting, whatever kind of meeting is, it doesn't matter. You are showing up as you, and people are watching. So Jan and Philip, based on etiquette and being the better professional, or being consistent in your personal branding, is it okay to show up while you're eating, or show up disheveled, or show up with holes in your clothes? Is that ever okay? Philip?
Look, I'm going to shake my head and say, no, it's not okay, because every one of us have an opportunity. And just what Jan put into perspective, you know, when we put on whatever clothing we put on for the occasion, it's not about us. It's about who am I connecting with, who am I showing up with and for. You remember, you know, Dr. Jacalyn and Jan knows this from the conversations and the coaching we've done together. Everything about etiquette and manners and emotional intelligence is having a what can I do for you attitude. How can I help you? How can I support you? And that goes, there's mileage in that, but you've really got to take it put a lot more flesh on the bone. It's not just showing up and saying, how can I help you? You've got to show up in the entirety. And for anyone out there who says, oh, I don't have much money, I can't afford X, Y, and Z, trust me, if there's a will, there's a way. And I know in many countries there are fantastic charity shops, for example. So go to a charity shop and pick out a nice shirt and a nice blazer if necessary. But there's no real excuse to show up eating food and your camera off and a background that really doesn't add any value. Because again, right now we're focusing on you, Dr. Jacalyn. We're focusing on Jan. There's no distractions. It's very clear who we're focusing on. We're very present right now. So there's a lot to it. There's a lot more detail attached to just showing up.
Yes, and if I could add on to that, I think that there are some scenarios where perhaps there is an exception, and maybe there's a medical, should I say, a medical, something that requires you to eat at certain times, or perhaps you're incapacitated, but you still want to be part of the conversation and listen in. There are some situations where I have come across this myself, and what I would suggest to do is reach out to the person that is hosting the call or that is organizing the call. And if it is reasonable for you to be on there without your camera on, I would never suggest eating at all on camera, but if you are eating, turn it off and mute yourself, but making sure that the host or the organizer is 100% aware, and that you do reach out in that chat room and say, my sincerest apologies, I will not be putting my camera on today because of XYZ, but making sure you handle yourself with grace if you do decide to turn your camera off. And that would really be the only time, I would say, if there is something medical that prevents you from showing up, but you do need to be there listening in. And if they say, no, it's okay, you don't need to listen in, we'll just send you the notes, so it's going to be recorded, please log in and take a look at the link afterwards, then do that too. But make sure you reach out just to make sure that it's okay.
Great point. Thank you for sharing that. Yes, definitely.
Point. Wonderful.
Jan, as we look at various generations all working together, I know I've said this a million times, I can't believe I'm going to be 59 next month, but my generation, millennials, Gen Z, each generation has a different way of doing things, a different way of looking at things. Is there a standard regardless of what generation you're in when we're talking about etiquette and manners, we're talking about the better professional? Is that valid if you're in your 20s versus if you're in your 70s?
I absolutely love this question. I feel as though it's one that I come across every now and then, because there is a bit of a disconnect between all these generations. And we have entered and we are living through this phase of technology being so accessible. And now this generation that's younger than I am have become a bit more introverted. Their social lives are online and not necessarily as much in person anymore. So being able to set an example for the next generation and show them the skills to be able to interact with people, how do you do that is by showing the example yourself and being present with your own etiquette and interpersonal skills. I will tell you, they do want to learn, this next generation after me, and I'm the millennial generation, but the baby boomers and sort of all the next generations after me, or before me, should I say, I think that etiquette is the best way, you being so formal with your manners and starting there. Because if you think about the type of workplace mentality, especially if, and I'm just going to put out a workplace scenario. I myself worked in a multi-generational business that was family-owned, small business with 5 to 6 locations. I worked in the corporate headquarters, and what I learned is people stayed there and they retired. And so but my own generation, and especially coming from Australia, we didn't really get taught to stay somewhere for a long time and then retire. We got taught to learn to do many things and get a lot of experience and work your way up that way. So there is a little bit of that disconnect, and being able to appreciate someone who thinks of these values of being dedicated and loyal to one workplace and growing and working and staying there until retirement, and being able to show that etiquette and appreciate that someone thinks like that and not speak in a way that could say or look down upon someone who has a mentality like that. So even the generation after me, I feel as though they're young, they're coming up, and everything's online, everything's so accessible. But if they can learn the manners, if they can learn that etiquette is going to help them make friends a little better, be able to talk on the phone more easily and not just text message or establish those relationships purely online, they just need the guidance, and they are willing to learn. And I think that the more they can see that through social media, how do you connect with other people? And that's part of why I'm on Instagram. Not that I particularly am as good as some of the other etiquette coaches I see, but it's quite popular to show these skills and for these younger people to learn them. So bridging the generations and helping have flowing conversations, you start with great etiquette and you show the curiosity about someone else. That's sort of the next phase. I could talk a lot about this, but I don't want to keep too much time. I feel like I should stop there.
Well, that really good points. We'll have to have you back to elaborate on that. Something else I wanted to discuss on this show is when you think about your personal branding, what about having some signature thing that you do, that you wear to have yourself stand out? So I'll give an example. I had a real estate license on the side for years, and there was a woman who always wore a yellow hat. You could always find her wherever she was because she had on the yellow hat. There are some movie stars, they have various sunglasses. What about having something that makes you stand out? How does that work with personal branding?
Wonderful question. I was just talking about this to someone I knew the other day. Having a signature piece of clothing or piece of jewelry could be quite advantageous to your personal brand. If you think about when you see a presenter, I learned this at the Protocol School of Washington. If you're standing in front of an audience, perhaps always wear pearls. Perhaps always wear a brooch that's a different type of brooch every time you present to make yourself distinguishable from the rest of the crowd. Other ways you could do that is you could pick a silk scarf, something that is very flattering to you. And silk scarves are considered quite professional across many industries. Thinking about how you present yourself, even your hairstyle, it can make a real impression on people. There are some other people that I could say is Tim Gunn. I'm not sure if you know who he is. He's on Project Runway. Very interesting style, and you know him for his pinstripe suits that are beautifully tailored. You could think of Jacalyn Kennedy or Jackie Onassis. Her style, the pillbox hat by Halston, that is one of the styles that she is absolutely known for. I'm trying to think of some other examples. I would say Kate Middleton. She wears nude pumps all the time. She has become quite known in the fashion world for her nude pumps, and everybody wants these pair of nude pumps. So I think that if you can pinpoint something that resonates with you and you feel good about yourself when you wear it, whether it be jewelry, whether it be an accessory, whether it be perhaps you wear all black all the time and you just play with the textures, and sometimes let's say you are in the hairdressing world, just for an example, and you're required to wear all black, but you decide to play with the textures. Maybe it's a leather jacket one day with alligator embossed pants, but it's all black, and it's all different shades of black. Thinking really about what makes you happy and comfortable, colors you wear, accessories. And one other example is when you're picking a color to wear that you absolutely love, it should make you smile so that you come to life when you're having conversations with people. And generally, mine is a red lip. I didn't have one today, but a red lip is something that helps me personally feel more confident, and it's a bit of my signature.
I love this answer. Everything that you say, I'm just like, oh, it's fantastic. I know for me, when I was in corporate, I was told not to have red lipstick or red nails. And now that I have my own platform, this is my signature, red and red. Philip, what about you?
I just echo everything that Jan's sharing and talking about. It's fundamental. You stand out for the right reasons, make yourself memorable for the right reasons. And, I can share a few examples. And one of the examples was many years ago, I had the privilege of standing on a stage in front of a couple of thousand of people to present. I had a window for 20 minutes. It was a 4 or 5 day event. And not only did I get a lot of people coming to talk to me off the back of that, but through that 4 or 5 days, I took my various suits with me. I always love a pocket hanky, and I really do make an effort to prepare the night before and everything, and I love to wear. And every day I was being stopped by people. Eventually, I think I got coined or named, are you part of the Kingsman family? You stood out and standing out for the right reasons. And the amount of people that I really built, rapport with and started to network with. And not only that, I was very fortunate to be invited to the House of Lords a few months ago, just as lockdown was starting to ease up a little bit. You wouldn't have thought so in the House of Lords. People were hugging each other, and it was all going on in there. But again, I made sure that I was absolutely at the top of my game in my presentation, and the amount of people that came up and said, gee, and talking of pinstripes, I'm a big fan, as you can see today, but not only pinstripes, but I'll never forget, I was wearing a very sort of a beautiful charcoal with a slight pink twill in the suit, and obviously everything to compliment. The amount of people that came up to me because I looked sharp, I looked the part. And this is not me blowing my trumpet on this one, well, maybe it is, but the case in point is that absolutely put your best foot forward.
And you always do.
Thank you.
Yes, that is true.
Well, this has been a fantastic show. And Jan, I welcome you to come back, because I always feel bad. The show goes by so quickly and there's so much more information. But for people who are out there, they're saying, you know what, I need to do some reflective work and I need to contact Jan. What's the best way for people to reach out to you? And who would you like to contact you?
I would welcome anyone who feels like they are feeling stuck with who they are and how to move forward, and really want to be educated in the business of being a brand about you, a personal brand. So please reach out. Don't hesitate. Go directly to my website, www.better-professional.com. It's very easy to get in touch with me through there. And again, you can check my social links, my podcast, everything is through my website.
Thank you, Jan. And we wish you safe travels home. Thank you again for going out of your way to be here today. It really means a lot. I will remember that.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
Jan, as always, lovely to see you. And thank you. You're a superstar, and may your business continue just going from strength to strength. You're a beacon. You're a beacon of light, and people need to reach out to you and really understand the power of what the Better Professional can do for people.
Thank you for the kind words, Philip. Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Thank you. We look forward to seeing you again.
Great weekend.
You as well. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye. Philip, once again, another fantastic guest. So much information that is really relevant to everybody.
Dr. Jacalyn, how blessed are we? We just get to work and talk to some of the most phenomenal people in this world, and genuinely amazing people. I mean, these are game changers. These are people who've seen the power and importance of going on being coached and and joining various courses that are offered to them, investing in themselves. You know, this continued professional development for me is one of the key things in life. You know, I always go back to show me someone who's dynamic and successful, a man or woman, and we will show you their track record in them educating themselves from their library to the courses they go on. And it's, as Jan said earlier, you can go and get the MBAs in this world. Absolutely brilliant. Go and study, go and do these things. But quintessentially, at the end of the day, it boils down to how you connect and engage with people and how you make other people feel. And you keep a consistency to who you are. You will shine every time.
I love what you just said, especially how you make other people feel. How do people feel when they're with you? What do they take away from that interaction with you?
And again, what are people saying about you when you're not in the room? I think that was a Jeff Bezos scenario. What are people saying about you when you're not in the room? Again, that you need to be that amazing. You know, people need to be your advocate. Create people to be your advocate for the right reasons.
Yes, absolutely. And be authentic and genuine. That's also important.
100%.
And when I meet someone like Jan or Simon, we had on, I can't believe it was a week ago, people like this, I want to know them better. I want to learn from them because the way they show up, the presence, the way they carry themselves, their listening skills, it all comes together and you leave saying to yourself, wow, I need to contact Jan. I need to know her better and learn more from her.
Absolutely. And again, it goes back to what you and I both profess and we both put into practice is we surround ourselves with good, positive people we can learn from, people that are far more dynamic than us, people that really can give us such an amazing opportunity. You know, one thing I forgot to share earlier, which would have really, you know, again, complemented that incredible value that Jan brought to today's show, is one person, one opportunity can change your life for the rest of your life. And that's because you showed up. That's because you put your best foot forward. That's because you made a huge effort. So that's number one. Number two, you could be the change in someone's life as well. And I want people to understand the power of what I've just said to that point.
Philip, I love that. Especially you could be the light that shines in someone else's life that propels them to the next level.
Completely. You know, Dr. Jacalyn, I was reading such a wonderful article the other day, and it really spelled something out very clearly. We, as human beings, you never know who's looking up to you. You never know who you might be a mentor to. You could be a mentor to 1,000 people and leave this world and you never knew how you guided and steered those people. So just again, going back to what you always share and what Jan shared with us, we have a duty to invest in ourselves and then obviously educate. And I love that question that Jan asked about bridging the gap between youngsters and our sort of generation and Jan's sort of generation, and giving these youngsters the tools to really understand the power of etiquette and manners and emotional intelligence and showing up. And this is what we have a duty to do, because we have to prepare these youngsters, because they are the future. They are the future. And if we don't, I truly believe that this world's going to come to an abrupt halt a lot quicker than I think any of us can even begin to imagine.
And I think that was also highlighted in that clip that we played, the Earthshot Prize, about taking care of our communities, taking care of each other, taking care of our planet. And especially now when tensions are high, lives are at risk, we have to be kind and grateful and gracious to each and every one of us. We're all human beings going through our own experience of this life journey. 100%.
So true. And we just need to slow down, be present, and focus on what changes we can make, positive changes we can make. Every single one of us has the ability to do something amazing. Every single one of us has the opportunity to make a change in our lives and make a change in someone else's life for the better.
Well said. Philip, as we close out the show, I'm going to spotlight you to share more for people just joining us. By the way, if you are on our YouTube channel, I see you over there. Please just hit subscribe. We would love that, have you as part of our family. I'd love to have you share again about the British School of Excellence. And also, in addition to being a co-host on USA Global TV, you're also a talking head, which is one of our expert presenters. And you will be starting at some point in the future with your presentations if you'd like to share something about that as well.
Certainly, certainly. Thank you, Dr. Jacalyn. So again, for those of you who are listening in on any sort of radio format, here at the British School of Excellence, the website is www.thebritishschoolofexcellence.com. Please reach out to us for a chat, connect with us on any level, just to explore what we could potentially guide you in. hello@thebritishschoolofexcellence.com is the best email address. And again, here in our organization, we were definitely not founded purely on etiquette and manners. We're very focused on that, on the full circle, which is your emotional intelligence, your etiquette, and your manners. And when you can build your emotional intelligence and rewire your brain from any past hangovers, and you can incorporate etiquette and manners, you will absolutely soar like an eagle. And the courses and the programs we deliver, we bespoke programs, so we get the opportunity to work with luxury brands, giving their executive sales teams the most quintessential tools to be better than they were yesterday, to really make that lasting impression, to under-promise and over-deliver. Working with hotel groups, working with restaurants, working with individuals, right across the board with youngsters, as I said earlier, from 5.5, 6 years old. And the oldest, wonderful, most incredible woman that came on our program about 9 months ago, Susie, 78 years old, came through Train the Trainer with the vision and focus to take her whole skill set, bolt on our Train the Trainer, and to go out there and guide and steer youngsters in her capacity and within her network. So, ladies and gentlemen, I urge all of you to understand the power of etiquette, manners, and emotional intelligence. And when it comes to talking head, and I'm going to be talking on a 6-part series, I really want to sort of give people the understanding of this is a lifestyle choice, and it's very much going to start off and focus on putting some flesh on the bone about connecting the head and the heart, because everything we do, the head and the heart are connected, and we have the ability. So there is psychology attached to all of this, absolutely, wholeheartedly, and we need to nurture our brains, and we need to ask ourselves each and every single day, how do I want to show up?
Thank you, Philip. And you always show up so professionally. And you know, even when we're not on this platform and you and I converse or we meet on Zoom, you're always the professional.
It's the way it should be, and you deserve every ounce of respect on every level, Dr. Jacalyn, for what you're doing, what you're achieving. And honestly, this is not, I know there's people going to think I'm really sucking up to you. You don't look anywhere close to the age you just mentioned earlier. That's for damn sure.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. And, you know, there is a lot of responsibility to running this platform. I don't think people have any idea, because I didn't have any idea because I've never done it before. But it takes days. When we're not broadcasting, I'm working to create the broadcast and promote on social media, then follow up with the guests. There aren't enough hours in the day. And I'm very grateful that I have the opportunity to work out. Because if I didn't have that, that means a lot to me. That's a huge part of my life. And being here and giving people this platform means everything to me. And people reach out to me all the time and they thank me and they tell me how inspired they are. And I just want to thank you. I want to thank you, Philip. And I want to thank each and every person who watches our programs. More and more people are watching. We have people from all over the world, different time zones. And it just is wonderful. So thank you to everybody who believes in us. I know the quality of the content we are producing is at the highest level because people are showing up big. So thank you, Philip, for everything that you're doing for this platform and for our team.
Well, and you, the instigator, you, the one who had this vision and passion and focus, and you understand the importance and power of this. And I just want to reiterate what Dr. Jacalyn's saying. The people that show up to USA Global TV and to Talking Head on USA Global TV platform, these people, me included, we are passionate. This is not just showing up and saying, well, I've got to deliver, I've got to be a co-host today. I'm excited. I want to give everything I can. I want to bring my A game every single time. And no matter how many times I have the privilege of working with people in a coaching environment, if we're running the Train the Trainer, the Polished Professional, any of our programs, I'm in my studio backstage. I've got butterflies in my stomach because I'm nervous. I'm not just cookie cutter approach. I'm nervous. I'm there. I'm doing my power poses. I've got my prep work. I'm ready to rock and roll, but I'm still nervous. And that for me, for all of you out there, it's part of our DNA to 100% show up and be the best you can possibly be right there and then, and look at how you can be better than you were last time.
Well, you summed it up, Philip. You really did. And I'm the same way, by the way. I am always nervous. The first show of the day, each day, I'm thinking, I hope I hit the right buttons. I hope the lights are right. And it's because we care. It's because we're so passionate about what we do that you're showing up for me and for our audience, and I'm doing the same. I'm showing up for you and our audience as well. So we just love what we're doing. We're so grateful to be here, and we would love to have you as a guest. You can go to usaglobaltv.com and you can book your session there. So thank you again, Philip, for taking the time. This is, I hope folks, you realize Philip's taking time out of his day to prepare, to come here, to deliver, and he's really passionate and wants our audience to take away knowledge. He's giving you knowledge and education right here that you're getting for free.
Absolutely. And next week, we've got an incredible guest, Dr. Jacalyn, which I'll be sharing with you. So, ladies and gentlemen, wishing you the most incredible weekend wherever you are in the world. Please spread the word on the power of USA Global TV and the incredible sort of journey that Dr. Jacalyn has created for everybody. It's priceless at the end of the day. And this material will be around for generations and centuries to come.
Yes, it will. Absolutely. Thank you again, Philip. I will follow back up with you over the weekend. Take care, enjoy yourself, and stay safe.
Take care, Dr. Jacalyn. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you, everyone. As I mentioned, I'm just so thrilled and excited that we get to be here with you and present these wonderful guests from around the world. I do have a couple of personal announcements, which you may not realize, even though I'm running this television platform. I also have a second business, which is drjacalyn.com. And my area of expertise is I am a certified life and career coach. I also am the listening mentor. So I teach people how to listen. And I'm also a best-selling author. We have a wonderful club for you to consider joining. It's the Elevated Listening Community. And you can find out more about this by going to my website, drjacalyn.com/join. It's $11 a month. And for that, what you will get is every Sunday, you will get a 30-minute video from me. And it starts off with a guided meditation. And then I will be recapping all of the key learnings from our 20-some plus shows each week, all the education that you can take away. And then I will also be providing fitness tips as well as tips on how to be a better listener. And once a month, which will probably go to twice a month, but initially once a month, everyone who's involved with the listening community will be meeting on Zoom. We will be in breakout sessions so that you can connect with people and you can figure out how to collaborate. I love when people come on our platform and then they walk away with 2, 3, 4 new friends. And then I hear about all the wonderful things that they're doing together. So that is all included for $11. Again, it's drjacalyn.com/join. The other thing I want to announce is that my second book is now available. It is Adversity to Awesome, Inspirational Reflections to Make You Reevaluate Everything. True life stories of inspiration from survivors of imprisonment, addiction, sexual assault, and more. And my thanks to everyone whom I interviewed and has their own chapter in this book. I also have the foreword, which is about some of the adversity that I've lived through in my life that most people don't know. So that being said, thank you so much. We will be back. We have 9 shows today. So we are off for the next 40 minutes, but then we'll be back. So wherever you are, please stay there. I'll be the one jumping from studio to studio. You can just watch us wherever it is you are. Thank you again. God bless you all. And thank you for your support and your loyalty.